All Indiana Politics is your premier source for Indiana politics, focusing on issues that matter to you.
I still want us to be the best in the Midwest.
We can't afford another lockdown.
Give the citizens of this country the relief they need.
Education in the state of Indiana remains priority number one.
In-depth, nonpartisan coverage.
We don't know exactly where the economy will be in January.
People are worried with good reason.
Exclusive interviews with Indiana's political leaders.
We have the resources here in the state of Indiana to care for those who are in need.
Expert analysis on critical legislation.
We need to reform those laws.
This recovery is going to take some time.
We've got to anticipate that there'll be a budget shortfall.
From Wish TV, this is All Indiana Politics Podcast on the All Indiana Podcast Network.
I'm Garrett Bergquist, government reporter for Wish TV. Voters in Southport will decide on their next mayor in November. Southport is one of 4 excluded municipalities in Marion County. Republican Jim Cooney is running for a second term as mayor. Let's bring in Jim Cooney. Jim, thanks for dropping by today.
Hey, you're welcome. Thanks for having me. I appreciate the invite.
Why are you running for another term as mayor of Southport?
I feel like I've accomplished a lot in the first 4 years, and there's things that I'd like to continue and finish up in the next 4 years. I think we've made some great headway, and I want to keep that going.
What are some things in particular from your first term that you want to continue to a second?
Economic development is really high on my list. We've got a 4-story, 92-unit apartment building that I think we're going to do groundbreaking for within the next 30 days, right across the street from the Perry Township Academic Center by the railroad tracks on Southport Road. And I see that as a catalyst for further development. I've also been working on developing good collaboration and relationships with the businesses in town. And we've got a new parks president, and we're ramping up events, a little bit different subject focus on some of the different things. And I just feel like another 4 years and I can accomplish those kinds of things and lead Southport further into the future.
Since you mentioned economic development, Southport is landlocked and you've got less than 1 square mile of land to work with. How do you work around that in terms of economic development and then also maintaining affordable housing?
One of the tools we have, like most other cities, is a redevelopment commission. And in the current agreement that we have with Rebar Development, we used our redevelopment commission tools. That's our biggest help. We have a small budget, and so we have to be clever and resourceful. I've been trying to work with different developers to point out our location is similar to what you would hear from a real estate agent: location, location, location. So we're trying to capitalize on that. And in terms of affordable housing, we have 2 different housing stocks. There's a very old part of Southport, and then there's a newer edition that was built in the 1960s and 70s. And I think the housing that we have is really quite good. We're in Perry Township with Perry Township Schools, so we have a lot to offer. We just need to kickstart our downtown development, and I think our apartment building will do that for us.
How does Southport deal with the risk of crime spilling over from the surrounding city of Indianapolis?
Actually, Southport is like an island. There's very little crime in Southport. Our police department spends a majority of its time helping IMPD with different runs given the current climate. We have, 24/7 coverage. We have 3 paid officers. In the last 10 years, we've upgraded our equipment, our patrol cars. We believe in community policing. It isn't just about writing tickets and citing people. It's how can we help the community? What can we do to develop a good relationship? We have the National Night Out in August, and it's very widely attended by residents in Southport. So we try to do way more than just be, issuing citations and that sort of thing. And it has worked phenomenally. As I said, we are constantly helping IMPD, which is fine, but the crime really is around us, but not within Southport, and the residents really appreciate that, knowing that there's routine patrols, and if there's something that were to happen, the police department's on it.
Now, Southport PD has far more assigned radio frequencies than it has officers. How long is that going to go on? And does the city have to pay insurance for all that equipment?
Regarding the frequencies, I think that's in an effort to communicate with IMPD. I'd have to get back to you on the insurance aspect of it, but we're going to send our officers out there into harm's way, and we believe in providing them with the equipment that they need that's appropriate, and we update. For example, the ballistic vests, we need to update those every so many years. We definitely keep track of their equipment and what they need and what we might need to acquire into the future.
How sustainable is it to have a police department with so few full-time paid officers and so many reserve officers, particularly given the city's budget?
It's very sustainable. We've been doing it for about 10 years, and we've been trying to increase the paid number of officers that we have as the budget allows. We take a look at where we're at, and then we make provisions for the future, trying to forecast where our budget might be down the road, and then plan accordingly with the police department.
Does a city the size of Southport, both geographically and in terms of population, need a police department? Have there been any conversations about turning that over to IMPD?
No conversations about that. The city's very pleased with the police department and proud to have its own department. I don't think that would ever be a conversation.
What's one issue right now that you think is not getting enough attention?
One of the things that I've worked on in the last 4 years and probably needs more attention, and we're in the process of addressing that, is communication. We just recently revamped our website. It'll probably be, if it isn't operational today, it will be tomorrow. Better graphics, more information. I also instituted a paper newsletter that we deliver by hand quarterly, and the residents love it. It has current events in it. We're now putting flyers in it. We had some issues about 2 months ago regarding heavy trash, so I did some research on what are the heavy trash rules, regulations, requirements. We put an insert in the newsletter, and the residents really like that. So communication, what are we doing, where are we going, that's improving dramatically from the past. And probably the biggest sticking point, which I'm constantly working on, is attendance at meetings. I really want people to come to our meetings. Of course, they're public, anybody's welcome. I tell you, COVID really killed the attendance at meetings, and we just haven't recovered from that. It's kind of disappointing, because one of the things I tell everybody is, in Southport, your voice does matter. You have the option to voice your opinion, and it will be heard by your councilman, by your mayor, clerk treasurer, police chief, whatever the issue might be. So I would say our biggest opportunity is communication and attendance at our meetings.
What makes you the best person in this race for this job?
I have experience, I have an excellent track record, and I like getting out into the public. I want to be on the streets talking to people. I have 2 doggies that I walk twice a day, and I'm available anytime, any place for questions. People call me at home, they stop me on the street, and I work for the best interests of Southport. I'm only interested in this for public service, and the last 4 years has clearly shown that.
Jim Cooney, thank you for joining us.
Thanks for having me.
Early voting begins on October 11th, and Election Day is scheduled for November 7th. And as a reminder, you can catch All Indiana Politics every Sunday morning at 9:30 exclusively on Wish TV. I'm Garrett Bergquist. Thanks for listening.
From Wish TV, this is All Indiana Politics Podcast on the All Indiana Podcast Network. Watch All Indiana Politics live Sunday mornings at 9:30 on Wish TV and at wishtv.com. Subscribe to this podcast and listen weekly here on the All Indiana Podcast Network. And be sure to discover even more great podcasts at allindianapodcastnetwork.com.